Is Render token still looking bullish after Friday's dump? I think that's going to be very important to know because Bitcoin right now it is still at the edge of a decision point, okay, after Friday's dump. And what I'm talking about for Big and why am I talking about Bitcoin is because it is the driver of this crypto market. If it has more room to pump, which I think it still does, then that's very good for a lot of our altcoins. However, if Bitcoin dumps from here, which there is still a pretty good chance that it will, that's gonna be very bad for the altcoins. However, I do have some pretty key bullish arguments to make for this bull cycle still being intact. One of which is the main one, is going to be that the Fed has actually just started its Fed rate cut cycle. Okay, I talked about this in my longer Bitcoin video today. I will link you guys at the end of this video. I never trade altcoins without a clear understanding of Bitcoin. Now, there's a few more things, including technical analysis, key points, but I'm gonna mention that when I get when I get TradingView up 100% again. Right now, it's not running 100%, so you guys might see some lag in this video. Excuse me for that. Now, render, what I'm looking at here, I still think that it looks bullish, right? Because if you guys actually take a look here, this is the weekly time frame for render, and I talked about this falling wedge pattern for quite some time, and falling wedges have a higher chance of breaking to the upside, and as of this week's weekly candle, you guys can see that the bears actually try to break down from this falling wedge pattern, especially on Friday here. Okay, I'm sure that's probably when it happens. However, if you guys can see that, it only ends up in a wick right now, and we have about 4 more hours left until this weekly candle closes. If we actually end up like this tells me that this was a bear trap, and there's going to be that's going to be looking very good for the bulls because this falling wedge pattern is still intact because we only have a wick outside of the pattern. And what is likely to come is probably a short squeeze where the bears actually realize that they need to get out of their position, and that's going to increase the buying pressure from within this pattern here. Would that necessarily mean that render is going to break out of this falling wedge pattern? Not necessarily. I'm just saying that for now, the bears are going to be buying their positions back, and that's going to increase the buying pressure. Likely, okay. Now, the price target for render here, if it breaks out by this point, for example, still, the price target would be almost $20 for render. Now, price targets are estimates only. There could be more, there could be less, a lot of which is going to depend on what happens with Bitcoin. And I am long on Bitcoin. I am still long on quite a bit of the altcoins here, so my opinions on this market are still bullish. However, these are just my opinions and not financial advice, like the entirety of this video, and you should form your own strategies and opinions. Now, one more thing I want to talk about for render. I talked about a double bottom pattern here last time. This double bottom could still be intact if we get the weekly candle close above the previous bottom, right? So this tells me that this is still just a wick. Wicks don't invalidate patterns, okay? Don't invalidate intact patterns. Closing candles do, okay? Candle closes do. So if we actually get a candle close above $2, and I'm just gonna say $2.80 just to be even and safe, right? Then this double bottom pattern is still on, and the price target will still be about $8.70. Neckline to be about $5.50. Okay, so this is basically what I'm seeing for render. It still does looks bullish. So if you guys want to continue seeing any more updates for render or any other coins in this market, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe. I'll pick a request to do for you guys on a daily basis, and I'll see you on the next one.